Okay, here we go. Day 8. Hard to believe. It's only been 8 days. But I got the whole next month marked off. Who knows how long this is going to last. I heard one report that Trump was going to release everybody on the 26th for, whatever. So, some interesting things today. Let's see, where do I start? Well, I needed to go to the beauty supply today, so I had to leave the house. And I called over there because I needed a particular color for Reba, who's coming over. She comes every 4 weeks, and I have known her since, it had to be the mid-90s, I think. She was actually my very first home hair client because we were going to the same church. I think that's how it happened. Anyway, she was a single mom and worked at the university, and I was a hairdresser, so we kind of, got together to do her hair. And I'm still doing her hair after all these years. So, when I called over to the beauty supply, they said, yes, we have that color, but we're closing at 4 o'clock today, and that's going to be the last that you're going to be allowed in the store. Because from here on out, you have to place your order on the phone and then pay for it with some, credit card or whatever, and then we will bring it out to you in the parking lot. So it's like I kind of stocked up a little bit. I looked over my inventory and saw, like who might be a possibility in the next, I don't have that many clients, in the next month or so. So I had a few things, a few different colors to buy. Wasn't too bad. But then I got a text from Reba earlier in the evening, and she said something about, are we still on for 2 o'clock tomorrow? Because I didn't know if you were in lockdown. And so, I wrote back and I said, well, we're still on for tomorrow, but there's a few questions I have to ask you. So, I made it kind of humorous with a little smiley face and everything. And I said, I asked her the same questions that I was asked when I went to the pharmacy. And I said, do you have a sore throat? Do you have any body aches? Have you been around anybody who has been sick? And so anyway, she hasn't answered me back yet. I'm not sure if she even, saw it. So, let's see. So this, the card for today, the only thing I can come up with is that you don't see any people. You see a dwelling or some, a few dwellings of some kind. So it made me think of all the empty streets in everywhere. But you notice there's a nice bright, it looks to me like a sunrise in the background. So I thought it was kind of curious. I'm not familiar with all these cards that much. I've only been working with them for a short time. And so I looked through all the cards to see how many had, sun in the background. And there weren't that many. So I thought, well, what was the one? The one with the cross. There was sun coming through the window. So, so that was good. But I'm going to put a link to a video down in the description, and it's from this woman. She lives in Canada. Her name is Amazing Polly, and she's a deep, deep researcher into what is going on with the deep state and, whatever. So she has come up with some very interesting information about who these players are who are on the virus task force. The woman that has the scarves and the shawls, and the really short guy who looks like a cartoon character, well, they are major, major deep state, terrible people. And all the connections, and it goes all the way over to the Czech Republic, and the ambassador that Trump took out, the one he fired, and a big, huge bonus that was paid to her, and just corruption, corruption, corruption. So, people on some of the YouTubers that I've been watching, the newsy ones, were saying, why is Trump keeping these people who are so corrupt and everything? Well, one of them is, how he keeps his enemies close and then he knows what's going on? He's so clever. So, anyway, he knows what the trick is. He knows the gig's up. So I just brought these out just to show you. This is the lining that's going to go with this one. And this is why I use so much thread, because all of this quilting takes a lot of thread. And then let me see, this one, this is the lining for the suede one. And then for the one with the flowers on it, I didn't do the quilting on it yet, but it's this one with birds, and they are so beautiful. I've used this fabric before, and I put it inside other ones that had, big flowers like that, and it's a really beautiful little surprise when you open it up and you see these birds. And the way I quilt it is I don't go through any birds. I make them like all, surrounded with the quilting. And so anyway, so that's that. Another thing is, these are fantastic as far as pick-me-ups. So it's just like a chocolate bar. I mean, it's, I ate a whole one yesterday, and I was up till 1 o'clock in the morning. I had it like after dinner, and that was crazy. So I have to only eat them when I really need a boost. But I went to Walmart today. I didn't mean to go to Walmart, but I had to go to Walmart, and they had my favorite Cliff Bars now. This is new ones that came out. They have a new coffee collection, and these are really good. Anything with chocolate and coffee and mocha and all that. So, so to get over to the beauty supply, I had to drive past Food Lion. And so, I checked out the parking lot, and it wasn't too bad. And so I went in there. There was like 3 items that I needed. They didn't have one of them. So I said, okay, I'm going to Walmart. So I got to Walmart, and it's kind of crazy, but one of the things I needed was toilet paper, because I, didn't get in on the big toilet paper thing when it was happening. And so I get there, and I'm going, into the back, and it was like the most perfect timing, because they had just a truck had just come in, they had just unloaded it, and then there was a line that was forming to in the aisle where they were. There was like a whole team of people that were opening up the boxes and tossing them to each other. It was sort of like a fire brigade. And I think they had 3 or 4 different kinds of toilet paper. And before they started putting them on the shelves were completely bare. So there was a lot of interesting conversation in the line I was like maybe 10th in the line, and then the line was just, like getting farther behind me, and they were limiting it to 2. So I only needed 1 package, and so then I got all the other items that I needed and went through the checkout where they actually do scan your groceries for you. I get so, I can scan my own groceries, but it's just kind of a pain, so I really don't like to do it. And so that was my big thing today. But then this is more of a social thing, because one of the things that happens in this building is we have shopping carts, small shopping carts that have been confiscated from Kroger, and I think we have 2 on each floor, and they're the smaller ones, which is really kind of, it's really bad for the store, and there's a big whole long story about, but I won't get into that. So one of the things is we have 3 stories in this building, and for some reason they always all end up on the 3rd floor. So I go in, check in the 1st floor, see if there's a shopping cart. There's no shopping cart, so I get on the elevator and I just immediately go up to the 3rd floor. I'm on the 2nd floor, and because I knew that there's probably not a chance that there was going to be one on the 2nd floor. So I get up to the 3rd floor, and there are 3 people sitting in the sort of like sitting area. Each floor has a little sitting area right off the elevator. And, they weren't keeping their social distance. And they were, there was one woman who was standing there with a shopping cart. Like, she had gone up to get one, and then she joined in the conversation with these other 2 women who were up there. And so I open up the door into the trash room, and there's 6 carts in there. So I start unloading the carts, and I'm going to take 3 of them downstairs, and then I don't know what possessed me to say this, but I just said something about, I don't know what it is about the people on the 3rd floor, but it just seems like they are the laziest people because they never take the carts back downstairs. And so this one woman looked at me and she said, well, not all of us on the 3rd floor are like that. And so I just sort of like, whatever. So then I, went through all that to get the groceries and bring them up to the, So then I was like, kind of put a bad mood. I thought, well, I shouldn't have made a scene about the shopping carts, because there's so many small little petty things that go on when you live in a space like this. I mean, it's like living in a dorm, it's just, sometimes I think I'm too young to live here, because so many of the people are just, all they do is sit around and gossip and talk and, sit outside, smoke cigarettes. And then the pervert who used to sit downstairs all the time, nobody, we can't sit down there. So now he stands in the breezeway, and he's just standing out there, and he's like a doofus, Anyway, I don't want to get into that, but, so then I had to, deal with walking past him, and, well, I don't want to leave the apartment now for the rest of the week. So I have enough food, I have enough everything, I have all my sewing, and maybe I'll see Reba tomorrow, maybe I won't, I don't know, it doesn't matter to me either way, but, that's my rant for today, and catch you guys later.